Hello, this is Angela Anderson. Thanks for joining me for this acrylic painting tutorial. Today we're going to be a super fun lesson. I'm going to show you from start to finish how to do this funky flower rooster. I'm calling it a flooster, I guess. I don't know. Got my husband Mark with me.
We crack ourselves up.
Oh no. I don't know what to call it. Yeah, so I'll be showing you tonight in this video, and let's get started. All right, welcome. If you are new, welcome to the party. We've been doing this for several years now, and yeah, where have you been?
Yeah.
Where?
Exactimo.
I know.
We almost know what we're doing.
Almost. I'm going to be using a 12 by 12 inch canvas. This is the Fredrix 12-inch red label, and I have painted it, you'll notice, with brown. So tried to match up to our reference photo as best I could. You gonna show the reference photo there? Okay. Yes, there we go. This is like 1 part burnt umber, 1 part yellow oxide, and 2 parts unbleached titanium, which got it. It's a little bit darker than the reference. If I hold it up against it, you can see that it kind of dried a little bit darker. So you could go a little bit more on the unbleached titanium or even just white. But anyhow, we got it fairly close. And I think I'm going to add maybe some gold accents to it later. And also you're going to want to pull out your fluorescent paint for this one. We're going to like really spice it up and do it with some bold, bright colors, since this is fantasy Rooster, Flooster.
Caliente.
Yes, yes. So let's go over our colors. I'm going to be using a lot of colors, but if you don't have these exact ones, just use what you've got and kind of adapt it as you like it. This is an easy one to change the colors. So I've got carbon black, burnt umber, burnt sienna, yellow oxide, India yellow hue, cadmium yellow light, green gold, cobalt teal, ultramarine blue, quinacridone magenta. This one is quinacridone red, and then this one is a new color from Golden called naphthol pink. It's just naphthol red and white, which is kind of almost an orangey. So cadmium red, like a cadmium red with white, would be similar to this one, and Pyrrole orange or Pyrrole or cadmium red light or cadmium orange would work too, just kind of an orangey tone. This will get us, I call this a split primary, warm and cool of each kind of color, so that we can do the whole rainbow. And this one, obviously, we're just doing fantasy colors, so we're not having to match anything. So that's even more, you can just go off and do your own thing with these colors. So whatever you've got used, don't worry about having these exact colors that I've got. Unbleached titanium, titanium white, and gloss glazing liquid there. As far as brushes, whew, can I take a breath? I'm just like going, go, go, go. I'm going to be using a few sizes of brushes, and I'm not really sure. These ones, really for kind of a looser painting, you actually want to use larger brushes. So I'm going to have smaller sizes, but I'm not going to use them unless I absolutely have to. So I have 3 different sizes of my flat brushes, 2, 4, and 6 in the Aspen, and then I've got a 4 round, and actually going to need a smaller round for the eye and the face details. So I'm going to get a couple smaller rounds, a 2 and a 2/0. And then I've got a couple of filberts here in different sizes, short filbert and longer filberts, and then an angle, and then another filbert. So lots of filberts. When you're doing flowers, I find like filberts are great. Flats can also work for leaves and things, so that's why I have a little bit of both. And then the rounds can be good for like smaller details. And the rooster face is basically a rooster face, and then the rest of it is kind of all floral. And the same thing with the feet. We'll need a smaller brush for the feet. Phew, all right, let's get going. And the reason that I'm using these ones and not, say, like a softer one, like my, you could use a brush like the VelvetTouch from Princeton. These are a little bit softer, and so you'll get better like fine details with this one, but I'm trying to keep this style kind of loose. So that's why I'm going with the Aspen, because they'll push around thicker paints. I'm using heavy body acrylics, so they're going to need a heavier brush to push them around and get those juicy brush strokes that I want. I did go in and I created this on my computer, on Procreate, on my iPad, I should say, not my computer, but and then I went through here and just printed out. The colors aren't quite as vibrant in the printout. My printer couldn't quite get those bright colors, and especially in the pinks. But this will give me kind of a reference of what colors I used in my photo, in my project on Procreate, but I cannot use my words all of a sudden. Anyhow, it'll just give me a reference so that I kind of know. You can see what I did though. I have like 3 versions of each color family, and that gives me the full range of values, kind of just gives me some play to work with so that I can give my flowers some depth, even though we're going to be making them up and they're not real. We can still give them a little bit of depth and realism by having these values be a little bit different as we're putting them on. All right, let's get going here. Stop talking and start painting. Everybody doing good?
Yeah, I think so.
Good.
Everybody's saying hi. Welcome.
Awesome, awesome. All right, so I decided to do him on a square canvas. I'm going to leave a little bit of space. When I cropped my photo, I didn't have enough room on the bottom here, and it was real close to the sides. So I just want to kind of bring his feet up a little bit from my reference so that I've got room for those. And they're pretty much right in the middle, maybe just slightly off to the front, kind of like that. And then, again, we'll be pulling out some, if you've got fluorescent paints, so we'll be pulling those out later to use. I've got a few different brands, and I've got some golden brands too. So kind of oranges to pinks. So any of those colors, the warmer colors, that'll be fun. That'll be our little accents. And then same thing with the gold metallics. I might pull those out and put some of those in the background when we're done, depending on how fast we can get this done. So let's get going here. All right, so look at the outline, the shape, and how they relate to one another. So once we get kind of the feet on there and we kind of know how big we're going to make our bird, we can see that the body is about 2 widths of 2 feet. So once we get kind of one thing down, then we just kind of base everything else off of it. And so the backside here is about the length of 1 foot, and the body is kind of the length of 2. So then we can have kind of where the dip is there, which is sort of above, just behind this back foot right here. If we go straight up, just behind it is kind of where the dip happens for the tail. And then we know we want to go way high up, use up all that space for the tail. And it kind of does an angle here, but I've got this area that kind of comes out, and like I said, it's about 1 foot this way, just straight across, and then it angles up towards this point this way, and then it goes straight up a little bit and then angles back out. There's going to be a flower here, here, and here. There's going to be big flowers here, here, and here. So these ones may be a little bit smaller than that. And then smaller elements as we need them, like that. Okay, so that's how you're going to map out your rooster. And you can do this with any animal, really. The first one that I did was a rabbit, and then I had already done a rabbit earlier this month, and so I thought I'd do a rooster instead. But really any animal you can do. This is really fun, and I think we might do another one if everybody likes this. We might do another one because I had so much fun doing it. So there we go. So there's our flowers, and then the rest of the head is pretty much just a chicken head. We're not going to do anything fancy with it. It's just going to be rooster head. So there's kind of a triangle here around the eye. The top of the head comes up, And there's like a shaggy mane, and then there's another triangle piece for the red. The beak comes down right there, and the eyes can be somewhere in here, and then there'll be the red thing. All right, so there we go. We've got our rooster pretty much drawn up. Look at it from a distance, see if there's anything I can see that I might make this part of the head a little smaller. I feel like I got it a little bit big just looking at my reference versus this, so I think I got that a little bit large. So I might make it a little bit smaller. Make the beak a little bit smaller. And bring that breast out a little bit, because this beak, if you did a line straight down in the picture, the breast is out to that beak. So in mine it's not. So when you think something's off, that's a good thing to do, is just to kind of start checking your lines and see, like, okay, this part that's sticking out here, if it goes straight across, it's kind of the widest part of the breast here, so we've got that lined up good, and then this pretty much does almost a straight line down to the legs. Again, there, make sure I've got kind of good borders. Like I probably could move the whole thing that way a little bit, so I might think about doing that and move this part out this way, maybe move the leg forward. So that we've got room for what we want going on in the tail. So for me, the star of the show is back here. All this stuff coming off the tail really sells it. And let's just bring the head up a little bit. I think I just kind of made it like a little too low. We'll just use up this space a little bit more. So we don't have to stick with our first drawing, you know, we can edit if we find that we need to. So make that flower bigger there, and this kind of makes if you look at the white area, it kind of does a curved line like that. So like that. And then, yeah, because this tail and the top of the head are even, so I had his head way too low there. All right. Then let's try that again. And I'm just using regular school chalk, but you can use, you can do this on paper. I would say if you're going to draw your own, I would do it on paper first. That way you can edit it, or even do it on computer. That's even better. And then print it out and trace it onto your canvas. All right, that's better. Now we look more proportional. I like that better. We've got room in here to put our flowers and more room for the tail, and we're not so crowded on this side. We still probably could have moved over another inch or so because we still are getting pretty close to that side, but I'm not going to draw it again. Okay. Let's go here. What?
No, nothing.
What'd you say?
did a great job.
Oh, thanks. All right, so I'm going to use my larger brush here to start with, the 6 flat. And I'm just going to kind of block in some of my shapes on here, and then we will fill in around them. And my main shape that I'm seeing in this area is going to be those flowers. So I'm going to get some magenta and some white. And I'm going to go in with a color first and then do my fluorescent on top, because the fluorescents can tend to be transparent, and so I want an opaque color underneath so that they kind of shine. So I'm going to go fairly light with this pink, but pretty saturated. I'm not going to dull it down any. I'm just going to go ahead and block that in. And don't do a circle, just kind of think about those petals kind of sticking out. So kind of do circular shapes, but not perfect circles. I find that looks better. So just kind of let the brush sort of do its thing. And if you have any super thick areas, just kind of blend them out a little bit, okay? And I'm also kind of making them a little bit different sizes too, you'll notice, so that they're not all same. All right, let's clean that out. And I'm gonna make this blue. So the blue is kind of a blue-green. Probably could have used Phthalo blue, but I like to have the ultramarine blue in case I want like a purple, because it makes a better purple than Phthalo blue. So the Cobalt Teal will give us a kind of teal, and then I'm going to use burnt sienna to gray it out, because it's a really desaturated blue in our picture. Get more of that ultramarine blue, more of the Cobalt Teal. Okay, I think that's going to be good. Now that may not be as dark as I want it, but I think that'll work. I think that's going to work. So I'm going to go ahead and just kind of roughly tap in where I want these leafy bits to be on the feathers, almost like I'm painting in feathers. And I'm going to go back in and add detail to them, but I want them to be pretty dark. I think I'm going to add a little bit of black and some ultramarine blue. And get some really dark areas just in a few little bits there. Okay, that looks good. Wipe that out. And then there's a little bit of this color sort of in between these pink flowers. So I'm going to sort of, while they're wet, just sort of block in some of that. It's kind of a good filler color. We'll put greens on top of it, but I added it in around some of these areas. Okay. Okay. So I think the idea is to not get too fussy with this kind of painting. Using the larger brush helps. Also, just kind of letting yourself play a little bit will help as well. Giving yourself permission to play is really important, especially doing this kind of artwork. Let's see what happens when I add green gold and burnt sienna together. And I want to use dull colors, so my greens are all going to be kind of desaturated, my blues are all desaturated, browns are desaturated in the background, because these are so bright. These are going to be super bright, and if everything's bright, it competes for your attention. So if you've got everything in neon colors, it's just you're not going to even know where to look. So by kind of limiting our palette here and making some of the background colors or some of the supporting colors more neutral, we can let these ones here be super bright, and they will have even more impact for us. So I'm going ahead and deliberately doling down these colors on purpose. So green gold is already kind of it's a beautiful green, but it's also already kind of an olive tone color, which is great, and it looks great against this pink because the pink really shines. If it's too, but I felt like it was even too vibrant, too saturated. If you don't have green gold, you can mix it with phthalo green, which I don't have on my palette. So phthalo green, yellow shade, and mostly Indian yellow hue, and maybe a tiny bit of black. But to keep it transparent, you kind of want to use just mostly Indian yellow hue and green, phthalo green. You could also use phthalo blue, because phthalo blue and phthalo green you can mix phthalo green with phthalo blue and yellow. So anyhow, all right. And that's still too light, so I'm gonna get some burnt umber and put it over here. Get a little bit more of my green gold and maybe a little bit of the cadmium yellow, And a little bit of my, ooh, see how bright that Cobalt Teal makes a beautiful green, but it's so bright. Look at this two side by side. But these, it's still kind of desaturated because it's got these browns in it, so I think it's going to work. So let's go ahead and try this. And I may need to mix my green with my Ultramarine Blue because I may not get, I feel like it's not going to go dark enough for me. Or I maybe can just add a little bit of this blue into it to make my dark, yeah, there we go, make my green darker. So I just added that dark blue into it to make my green a little bit darker. And I like with acrylics to go dark and then add the light color on top, so just gives you room to work. Do a few leafy type of shapes there, just kind of dabbing my brush down. Maybe get a little bit of that darker blue. Make kind of a turquoisey color with those greens. And mixing all these colors together will help to kind of harmonize your painting. Okay, that's good. So let's go ahead and do these like leafy shapes here. I'm just going to set my corner down, and I've got a couple paint colors on my brush. I'm just setting the corner down and letting that brush smoosh out to get these leafy shapes happening in there. Looks good. Right, and then I can get some white and come back on top and add little bits of white on top. You can let them dry if you need to, but okay, that looks good. Getting some more of these greens here. And really literally just dabbing on with my brush. Here, I'm going to go over this area with other colors, so I'm not worried about these leaves in this area, but I was trying to kind of get these to form leafy shapes because those are on the edge and they're going to be visible. So the ones kind of in the middle I'm not worried about right now. All right, that's already looking pretty good. We're getting the feel for it. This is going to be a fast one, I think, tonight. These kind of go really fast. This is definitely a project. Mark was like, you need to do more. This is Mark's. So if you like this, say thank you, Mark, in the comments, because he was telling me that I need to do more lessons like the ones that I used to do with my kids' classes, which are the very first ones that I did on YouTube way back when. We were super simple, the things that I could get done in, with kids in an hour and a half. We had an hour and a half, and that was it. So we had to book it and get something nice done because, the parents are expecting you to have something to take home and something finished. Also important. Sometimes we went more than a week, but usually that didn't work out very good because then somebody was inevitably absent and then you had a unfinished project. So I always hated when that happened. So yeah, I just started kind of looking at things that we could do that were faster, easier,
faster,
project.
fun, whimsical,
and easy, and things that
just
are
enjoy
more
painting.
approachable. Mm-hmm. More approachable for beginners.
And guarantee we can be done in time for Oak Island.
Exactly. I think that's your real motivation, to be truthful.
Yeah, I mean, there's always an underlying motive.
Let's be real here.
And sometimes I don't get dinner before the show, so, also a chance to eat.
Exactly. I remembered to feed him tonight and ordered pizza. All right. Burnt Umber, burnt Sienna, and some unbleached titanium. Unbleached titanium can be mixed with yellow oxide and burnt sienna and a little bit of black. It's just an off-white that has like warm yellow, warm brown tones. And I'm going to use this up here in my chicken mane, for lack of a better word.
Chicken
Okay.
I guess you could give him a mullet.
Party in the back, baby. We'll add yellow and white to that, but I could have left the background color. It's not that different from what I already had, but I just wanted a little bit deeper color just so that it didn't look like the white was floating on the top of the canvas. All right, so let's go ahead and go to a little bit smaller brush now. Let me see what I want to use. I think I'm going to use the 4 round, because then I can do my leaf shapes and my flowers here. And this is still wet, so I'm still waiting for those to dry before I can do anything else to them. And let's go ahead and put in our yellow flowers, because those will take a while to dry too. So let me go ahead and do that. We've got a fly in the studio. Yay.
One has escaped.
Winning a losing battle with the flies in our house. I left the door open for like, I don't know, 10 minutes maybe the other day, and just dozens of flies.
Hordes.
Dozens.
Of flies.
They were waiting.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so mixing these 3 together, the yellow oxide will tone it down, and these 2 will give us a nice bright kind of mustardy yellow. I think that's going to be really nice. It's maybe a little bit more saturated looking than the reference photo yellows, but I think I don't think that's the yellow I use, because that looks a lot lighter in the picture. So I think it printed off darker than it is. So I'm going to use those, maybe mostly Indian Yellow Hue and Yellow Oxide. And just kind of do sort of random petals. If you set your brush down before you move it, like if I go fast, I get kind of a thinner line. But if I set my brush down and just let those bristles kind of breathe a little bit and spread out, then I can get like a nice shape out of this brush. I can also do it before I go to the canvas, so I can press down and kind of get sort of a Filbert type shape out of my brush that way, but I'm usually too lazy and I just do it on the canvas. So get that on there. May have to add a little bit of white just to make it a little bit more opaque, so I'm still seeing some of that green through. Let's go ahead and do here. Right. And then, fly, go away. He's landing on me. He's like taunting me.
He knows. He knows what you've done to his family.
I love this time of year, but I hate the insects. Except for the bees. I wish we could just pick our insects and just be like, no thank you to the cabbage worms and the mosquitoes. I don't think I'm going to order those this summer.
Nope. Well, maybe the frost will help.
Okay.
Push them back a little bit.
Yeah, maybe. All right, there we go. That looks good. Let's go ahead and do one here. I don't know where I did my area there. So low. Didn't leave myself much room for this one. And then there's one kind of tucked up under here, kind of going up under his
mane.
thing there. Mane, yes.
Chicken mane.
Chicken mane. New term.
I think that was the name of our rock group back in the 80s.
Chicken mane?
Chicken mane.
I thought of a new one that the other day.
Oh, yeah?
It's like, I think my band name should be called Nap Time. Just appropriate. All right, burnt sienna and the Pyrrole red. I'm adding it to this yellow. Right? No?
It'd be a hit at the retirement homes.
I think so. We're not that far away from it. I think that.
we went out real quick for lunch today, and Angela's like, "Oh, let me order online because we get a discount." I go, "Well, why do we get a discount?" "Oh, because my AARP is linked to it."
Heck yeah.
Oh, okay.
Gallisters for the win. All right. I hit 50, man. I was on it.
Show me the
I'm
discounts.
all about it. It's the only one I've actually used so far, but hey, I saved a lot of money. All right, so there we go. That looks good. And I'm just kind of filling in now these gaps that I left where I thought I was going to put yellow flowers and didn't. All right, looks yay. I like it already. All right, and then so let's go ahead and, I don't know what I just did with that green there. I'm going to see if I can get some of that blue and fix that. All right, so let's get this blue. I'm going to add a little bit of white to it. So we've already got kind of the bones up here. Keep your paints wet if you can. Remember to spray them. I kind of left mine to dry a little bit. But I'm going to go ahead and just use this brush and kind of almost lay it flat on the canvas so that I get that rounded bit. I'm not going to do it this way. I'm going to do it this way and just dab. That way I'll get like little almost dots and just kind of lay it and face it always kind of towards where I want it to go, the back end of it, where I want the end of the petal facing. So I'll just keep facing it out like that. And then just do another set of them. And I was being real careful with it because I was going slow, but really prefer it doing it kind of fast so that it looks a little looser and more natural and not so perfect. But you do whatever appeals to you. Some people like it to be a little bit cleaner, and I kind of, it's weird though, if I had done this same painting like 15 years ago, every little brush stroke would be perfect. But I don't know if it's just after doing so many paintings or just getting older or whatever. I don't have time for that. I'm not sure what the reason is, but I just really like a little bit messier. I like it when the painting's got a little character and it's got a little bit messier bits hanging out. Maybe it, you know, it's true life playing out, who knows, but life's messy, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So there we go. So I'm just kind of going along here and adding little bits hanging out in different directions to kind of break up that flow, but it's just still getting those feeling of the tail feathers of the bird, and I feel like that looks pretty good. And I really love that kind of dusky blue that we've got going on here. And that was just a little touch of black in with those two blues there and burnt sienna. And I think I added burnt umber too. So just some neutralizing, however you want to neutralize it. It doesn't matter. You can use black, you can use browns, but blue with a little bit of neutral color. And it doesn't honestly matter if it's a cool blue like ultramarine, or I added the warmer or the cooler blue with the cobalt teal. You could start with phthalo blue. It really doesn't matter. Cerulean blue would work, but you just want to make sure that you're neutralizing it is the main thing. If you just went with ultramarine blue and we didn't use the neutral color, or if we just kind of lightened it up, ultramarine blue would kind of have a violet tone. So having a little bit of that green blue in there, I think, is what we're going to want with this one. Although if you like the violet blue, you could do that instead. But I think with this one, just with all of the other things having so much of that cool violet tones in the reds and pinks and things, that having this more cyan, green leaning blue is nice. Just balances it, neutralizes it a little bit, and then it leaves us room to play with our brighter colors. All right, I'm gonna add some of these light pink flowers. Now I'm gonna get my pink and my white, and I'm going to stab in some. I didn't really leave myself room for these, so I'm gonna try to get them in here. Just some little, like maybe, oh, what are those? Periwinkles or something like that, or violets, or I don't know, just little tiny pink flowers. This one, the blues were a little bit wet. They're mixing with them a little bit, but I think that'll be all right. All right, let me clean that out. And then let's go ahead and put in our feet. So I'm gonna get the white and some of that blue. Maybe a little bit of burnt umber, just to make it a little bit more brownish. But I want it fairly white. And I'm looking at the rooster legs. They're pretty knotty, and then they kind of knotted, not knotty, but not, kind of knobby. They have that veiny texture, so I'm going to get and just kind of dab in over it as I paint them in. And then
Wrinkly,
thank you, that's the word. That's the word I'm looking for.
some English word in there.
And the feet are both kind of pointing in the same direction off to the side. I've got 2 fingers here, so his 2 toes, he's got probably 3 toes sitting there. But since we're looking at it from the side, we're not seeing them. So it's fine. It's fine to just do it this way and just have, 2 toes facing forward, and we're good. All right, let me get a little bit of yellow and add that, and maybe some more white. I got the Indian Yellow Hue, white, and go ahead and put in that beak. Make sure your beak goes into the face and points toward the eye. And then it kind of comes up a little bit and kind of forms a little bit of a triangle where the peak, the longest point, is coming down. All right, and then I'm going to get some of my orange color and come up under and do a smaller line underneath there for the split in the beak. Let me get my bright red. Actually, let me do the white part first, and then I'll do the red. So I'm going to get my white, maybe a little bit of this yellow, but mostly white. And I'm going to just use the tip of this brush. If you need to, you can add more water to this brush, or to your paint. It'll help you make a thinner line if you have more fluid paint. So if you're having trouble getting your lines thin, then just thin out your paint a little bit, and it can help. You don't want it so thin that it goes transparent, though, so watch out for that. I think that looks good. I'm looking at my picture, and I'm just going to do these lines going in the direction that I see in my picture, and try to move my brush up and down and side to side as I'm doing this, so I don't get a pattern happening. So it's really easy to get like a straight line happening if you're not being careful and watching and going up and down, side to side as I'm putting this in. And don't do too many, because you want to leave a little bit of that background color. So, and we can also add more white later. But there we go. There's our Rooster. I might get a little bit of that blue and add it to that brown that I had from before. And I'm going to put it kind of around the red and just sort of give it a shadow behind where I'm going to put the red part. You'll see it. It won't really show up much once we put the red on there, but it'll be, give it just a little bit of a shadow. Okay. Looking good. All right, so I'm going to get the reason I got the Quinacridone red is just because it's so vibrant, bright. It's going to be a great red to do the Rooster. And I'm going to get a little bit of white, just a little bit, because that red is super transparent and it might not look very vibrant against that brown. So I'm going to go a little bit bright, and then what I'll do is I will add another layer onto this after this dries, so it'll go even more vibrant once I got my color down. And I'm going to leave kind of the spot for my eye. Oh, I didn't leave my little circle of white. Right, let's get more. And I'm going to just set my brush down and pull it down towards the thing there and kind of leave a little bit of that. Just dab, 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 dab. All right, that looks good. Look how much darker that looks in that.
Yeah, the color.
That color's off on that side camera. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and use this color now. This is dry. Let's go ahead and start building out some shape on these flowers. I'm just going to do some semicircles around. I'm going to have a dark center on here, so I just want to kind of create some loose lines. Around. So I've got two here, so I'm going to want to come in between, and that kind of is sort of a rose peony type of thing that those flower petals do, is like they will overlap in between, you know, so you have two petals joining here, and then you'll have another one kind of behind it. So we can kind of just give that feel by leaving some space on our petals. And I'm kind of doing them darker down a little bit down at the bottom, maybe leaving a little bit of room at the top for some lighter colors. All right, so I'm going to get some of this light pink that I did before, maybe get some of this naphthol red light. Naphthol pink, I should say. That's the new color. I'm not sure exactly what pigments are in there. Whatever PR 112 is, and PW6 is white. They little titanium white, but I bet PR 112 is naphthol red medium. No, PR 5 is naphthol red medium. Let me see if this one is naphthol red light. Yep, naphthol red light. So it's naphthol red light and white is this color. What'd you say?
Nothing. You're faster than the Google.
Ah, nice.
I got golden typed in, and it's suggesting Golden Corral, my first one. Which I don't
It knows
remember.
you.
The last time I was at Golden Corral, but I always talk about food.
Yeah.
Then
It's like, well, golden, he obviously means food.
Golden State Warriors, Golden Retriever,
Nice.
Golden Goose Shoes.
Nice.
Never heard of it. The Golden Bachelorette.
That's
And
funny.
a Golden Doodle.
All right. I'm mixing some of this red from the Rooster with this. I'm going to just add some highlights in there. It's not quite dry, but it'll do. And you can see I kind of just went around and added the purpley tones. And I'm going to still go in with these colors, so I don't want to cover all of my pink up. I want to leave room for those other colors, so I'm not doing too much here. And I don't have any blue left, so I'm going to go ahead and make up some more of my blue with my black and Phthalo in Ultramarine Blue and Cobalt Teal. And then I'm going to use that, and I'm going to just hold my brush kind of far back so I don't get too fussy with this, and just dab and make a few little marks for the center of these flowers.
Okay, we got a question. They said, is the Rooster Naphthol red light? So no quinacridone red for the Rooster's head?
The Rooster's head was quinacridone red and a little bit of magenta and then a little bit of white.
Okay.
And then what I just added there was the naphthol pink.
Okay.
As a highlight. But if you don't have that, just add white to your red and maybe add a little bit of orange to the red and you'll get a similar color. I just used that naphthol pink, like I said, because I had it, I just bought it, and it was almost a dead ringer for that color there that I used in my Rooster. So I was like, well, I might as well just pull it out and use it. We'll have fun with it. So all right, so there's my centers of my flowers. I might do more with them. I don't know. They look a little bit bright. But for now, I'm going to leave them. And I'm going to I'll mix some of that in with the color that I used on the leg of the Rooster. Some of that dark blue. And just go back in and add. And if I want to dry brush, I want to take most of the paint out of my brush here. And I'm just going to set my brush down and kind of pull back so that I get those wrinkly textures on that leg. And just a little bit, just a hint of it. Load your brush up and then kind of wipe it out so that you don't have a ton of paint on there. And then there we go. Now, I didn't get super fancy with this. Like, you probably could put a shadow under his feet and stuff. If we want to do that, I don't know. But, I mean, I was kind of like on these fantasy type ones where it's like totally not something painted from real life and we're editing it, for our own uses. I always kind of am not really sure exactly where to end with the details. Do we give it a shadow? Do we? And I think that it probably just depends on when we get it done. If it looks funky, like if it's something that we notice and we're like, it looks weird not having a shadow there, then we can add a shadow. I think that I just ended up with a shadow because I was blending that color in, and I think that I'm going to leave it off, but we'll see. Like I said, we can just add it. It won't take us 2 seconds to add it at the end if we want it. So for now, we'll leave it and see if we like it as is once we get everything done. And I'm just wiping this off with water, but I probably should use a towel instead of the brush because I had paint on my brush there and it was picking up color. That green's still not dry. That went on thick. Right, so now I can wipe off my chalk marks. I need to not do any of this around the face. It's still wet. But where I can, it helps me to see what I've got better and if I need to add anything. All right, making good progress. Isn't this fun? Mm. Give it a thumbs up if you like it, please. Because it'll let me know that you want to see more like this. Leave a comment if you want to do others. I have a couple other creatures that I've already kind of sketched out that I think I'd like to do, but I need to hear from you guys, see if you like it or not, because I think
Well, several
I
people
like
said
it.
thank you earlier. So
Thank me.
no, thank you.
Thank
to
you to
me.
you.
Yeah.
Oh, nice, good.
I think it's a good balance because you bring the easy, yeah, I can do this,
Right.
here,
Mm-hmm.
and then you offer the more advanced stuff over on the Patreon. So
Right.
some people who want to get a little bit deeper and
We won't want to do it
Learn.
realistic. I'll show the
realistic and learn more about the theory and the
bonus
the
video for
reasons.
this month. We just
What?
did. It's our little bunny. I still have to add his whiskers. I forgot to do the whiskers, but
He shaved. He doesn't need whiskers.
he was photoshopped is what happened. Oh, speaking, well, I didn't get, don't let me forget our giveaway
Our
code for tonight. Huh?
What? Our what?
Our code for
Okay.
tonight. For
I didn't know if you're supposed to say it.
I'm not supposed to say that word, actually.
Exactly.
Sorry, the algorithm doesn't like that word.
Right. So what are we calling it?
Art Hall.
The art hall.
Adding more contrast here with a little bit brighter white. So once you get kind of your initial layers down, then you can kind of see once they dry, especially white, I find you kind of need to do a couple coats to get it back to a brighter color because it just kind of bleeds through. Even if you use titanium white, which is our most opaque white, it still tends to kind of bleed through. All right, and then let me go ahead and I'm going to get some of this kind of yellowy white color here. I'm just going to dab in some random little bits here and there, just so that that's not the only place where we have that white, because otherwise it kind of looks a little funky. It just kind of tie everything together. All right, there we go. Let's go back to these flowers and add a second layer now that that first layer is mostly dry. I'm going to use the cadmium yellow light now. And I still want to neutralize it somewhat, so I'm going to go ahead and use the yellow oxide to do that. And maybe we'll see what happens when we add white. If it still looks a little too bright, we can add more yellow oxide, but I think that'll be good enough. I don't mind if the yellow is sort of on the bright side. I just want it to be kind of mustard toned, so just a little bit of that yellow oxide will help with that. Making it a little bit more orangey golden. That's pretty. Okay, I think that'll be good. And I'm just going over the top of what I've already done, but just slightly inside of it, so it's not quite to the edge. And this is about 1 or 2 shades lighter than what I've done before. So we're getting a second color here. Remember we talked about that at the beginning, using different values of the same color or similar to create depth. So now everywhere where we left that darker yellow showing, it's going to feel like it's a little bit farther deeper into the flower. And we can leave a little, we can just do, like maybe this one, some of those don't have the brighter yellow on them, or maybe just a tiny bit instead of the whole thing, and that gives it a little bit more depth too. All right. I'm just setting my brush down and kind of lifting and pulling towards the center to get these shapes. So very simple shapes. Let's go ahead and get some of that blue. And I'm going to use that. already got this orangey color that I did around the centers, which was, I think it was burnt sienna and Pyrrole orange, maybe. I can't remember. Hopefully I said. I might have been talking about other stuff. Who knows? I got a comment the other day on an older video. It's just like, all it said, it was too much chatting. Like, I'm sorry. I know, we chat.
Yeah.
We're not for everybody.
At
It's
some
an
point,
acquired taste.
We'll stop talking to each other. But we haven't reached that point yet.
We've been married how long now? 30-something years.
30, let's see, this year I carried the one. This year will be 36.
36 years. Jeez. So, we still like each other okay, so
Yeah.
I'll keep him around for a few more years, see how it goes. All right. And I'm going to use some of this pink kind of in the middle. Just dab some of that in. That was that Naphthol red light color, or the Naphthol pink, I should say. Sorry. The Naphthol red light and white, though, is how you mix it. So if you don't have it, which don't go out and buy it if you have Naphthol red light. It's unless you're using a lot of that color, there's no reason to go out and buy it. Sorry, Golden. I do like the pre-mixed colors, though. They're fun, and they're nice to have if if you're doing a lot of things with those kind of colors, then it can be really helpful to have it pre-mixed. But if you're only going to use it occasionally for flowers and things like this, where you've got other colors that you can mix too, and you're not doing the whole background with that color or a whole item with that color, then it doesn't really matter if you have it or not. All right. Oops, nope, didn't mean to do that. I'm gonna get my black now, and we'll put in our rooster eye.
Can you move it so I can zoom
Yeah. Kind of do need to. Maybe I need to set my hand down a little bit, but I don't want to lift anything out. Brush is not. There we go. Okay. And then clean that out. I'm going to get some of my white and some of my gray blue color. And I'm going to dab around the eye. And pick up a little bit of that black, that's okay. But just a little bit of a light gray around the eye just really helps settle it into the face. And then use that same color to do a little bit of a highlight. It's not really showing because that black's not dry yet. And a little bit of white right there. Okay, so there we go. There's our little rooster. Let's stay zoomed in because I'm going to do this part back here. There's like a white ear. I think that's his ear. Maybe. Don't know. Up on my rooster anatomy. Probably should know. Yeah, but I think that's his ear. So there, and then there was just a little bit of a dab in there of that brown color. I'll let that dry because it's kind of went on a little bit soupy.
Yes.
What's the ear? Ding, 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 ding.
You got the ear and the ear lobe just below it.
The earlobe?
Mm-hmm.
What does the anatomy look like?
Hmm?
What's the anatomy of the earlobe look like?
It's just that red.
This is the earlobe?
According to one picture, yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, then the part below his
Big
beak is a
earlobe.
wattle.
Okay. Of course, I got into my red there. I'm just going to clean that up.
So I wonder if he has his ear pierced. No, probably not. Could do that. And his legs are called shanks.
Shanks?
Yep.
I like it.
And then has spurs on the back.
Oh, I need to
Toes
do
on
a
the front.
spurs. Yeah. Oops. I got my hand in something here. Yeah, I got a couple of places, and I got it up here too, so I'll just put gold stuff on it. All right, I'm going to get the brighter red now. And come back in with that brighter red. Add some of that. And then I want just a little bit of an outlining. So I'm going to get my black. And I still had that red in there. I'm just going to very lightly trace some very rough lines, not anything super detailed, but just roughly outlining just to give him a little bit of depth. I did this at the very end of my drawing, just when I did the digital drawing, because I just felt like it just lacked a little bit of depth around the face. It's just a lot of red, so it just helps define those shapes a little bit.
Gives some shadow.
Yeah, yeah. And then we'll go ahead.
So, you want to know the real name of the chicken mane?
The what? The chicken mane?
Yeah.
Is it the wattle?
No, that's the little red part under
Is
his
it the
beak.
crow?
No.
What is it?
Hackle.
Hackle. Okay.
Hackle.
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 Getting his hackles up. Probably where that saying comes from.
Oh, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Getting your hackles up when you get mad?
Yeah, I don't
You've
think
never
I've
heard
ever
of that?
it. No.
You haven't read enough.
Ding, 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 ding.
You've never heard of getting your hackles up when you're mad?
Nope.
Okay. It's probably from the 1940s, and I'm probably really, it's probably from some old movie that I watched way back when with Cary Grant or somebody like that. Who knows? Who knows? You've never heard of that? Google it.
Oh, man, you know what that does to my Google feed.
Never mind, don't. All right, getting some of that brighter, lighter yellow or lighter reddish color. And now I'm going to do, again, just kind of add a little bit of that back in. I kind of already had it sort of here, so just very lightly adding it just in a couple places. And it really doesn't have to be that much to do, give it a little pop of color. Do maybe a little bit.
To rub them the wrong way or subtly annoy them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, get your hackles up. You learned something. You're welcome.
Ask me next Tuesday.
You did.
We'll see if it stuck.
Guarantee you it didn't. Guarantee. I made his beak too long. Oh well. It looks a little bit long.
Oh, so I guess I have hackles too.
You got hackles too?
Yeah, because it's technically the hairs or the feathers that grow right at the back of an animal's neck.
Mm. To the nape of your neck.
Or the back.
Things I learned
Like a
on
scared cat or an angry
Angela's
rooster.
painting show.
You learn to paint and you learn to hackle.
Learned what a hackle is. You're welcome. All right. I'm going to get some burnt umber here, a little bit of burnt sienna. I just want to put in a darker line in that beak. Just a little bit there. Okay. And I definitely think when I might edit this color here. So let me get my burnt umber, yellow oxide, and unbleached titanium.
So I wonder, I'll see if,
It'll go on lighter, and I think this is probably a little too yellow. What were you saying?
I said I wonder if I will hear about that tomorrow at work, because one of my team members was in chat earlier.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Well, shout out to, what's their name?
Jessica.
Oh, Jessica.
I think she's learning how dumb I am.
Learning what?
She's learning how dumb I really am.
She's seeing your alter ego here. What's he really like at work, Jessica? Send me. Mark's like, don't.
No.
Don't. You didn't laugh very hard at that. All right, so I'm gonna get a little bit bigger brush. And when I add a color like this and it's not exactly the same, I don't have to paint the whole background, but what I can do is paint it in a few other places. And that just helps give variety to the color back here. I added a little bit more of the burnt umber too, and I can add a little bit of glaze to it as well. And if I glaze it over in some other places, it may not look as flat, and if you want that really fully flat background color or look, then this this really wouldn't work, because you'd have to get the paint color exactly the same. But I can blend in any boo-boos that I fixed by just doing this. And I'm just going to glaze it and just have, some streaks of this new color in. And there's some areas too where that first layer didn't fully cover, so I can go into those areas. But I want to be sure that I kind of get it everywhere if I'm, especially if I've got the same color everywhere like this. If I had multiple colors in my background, then I could just add it 2 or 3 places and be good to go. But since this is the main color and it's everywhere, I need to add it everywhere for it to look good. But once that dries, we'll have some streaks, but we won't notice that we touched up here, here, and here at all. It'll just all kind of look like we meant to do it. So let me get some of my beak color now, just that yellow and white and a little bit of orangey tone to it. I think mainly yellow oxide and white. Yeah, yellow oxide and white. And I'm just going to bring it back out a little bit, but keep it a little smaller than I had it before. And kind of curve it down right here at the tip. It was all the way out to here before, so I made it a lot smaller. All right, very good. I like that better. How are we doing on time? Good. All right, so let's go ahead and I'm gonna finish up these side flowers here. Get that magenta, and I mixed it with this reddish naphthol. And I'm just going to put in this is where it kind of have to go from the inside out and smush down. This brush is probably a little too big for these little guys, but I'm going to try to get them in. And again, I'm not worried about them being perfect. Perfection is not the goal here, especially in a painting like this where we're so loosey-goosey with everything. Just have fun with it. Get it, you know, get it looking until you like it. It doesn't have to be look like any particularly real flower. All right. Looks good. I think I want a few more of these just to kind of fill in. I feel like they'd be good filler flowers, so I'm going to kind of maybe do just a few more, maybe a little smaller. There we go. Okay. And now I'm going to get that green gold and my white. And I'm going to add a little bit of that red, that pink color to it. That'll just neutralize it and create a whole new really cool little green. It's kind of got some brown undertones. Mixing the red with the green, being opposite on the color wheel, they'll interact and neutralize. Let's go ahead and just add a few little leafy bits here and there. Go. Now this is kind of getting close to yellow, so I don't want to do too much of this because it's going to kind of take away from my yellow areas, so I don't want to add too much of that. I'm going to maybe get some of that blue, mix that in, there we go. Just do a couple little deliberate leafy shapes with this. I don't like what I've done there. I liked what I had before. So I'm going to try to get that back with a little bit of that darker green. Just covered up all my dark green there. Okay. Okay, that's better. We can go back over.
We have a question.
Okay.
They would like to know what other background color
White. Sorry.
would you suggest? Sorry, I thought you were answering
No,
before.
no.
So what other background color would you suggest?
If they don't want brown,
Yes.
I would do something neutral. So gray, brown, something that is in this painting already. So, you know, a gray that's mixed with colors in this painting. I wouldn't do if you're going to do these bright pinks, I probably wouldn't do anything too bright. And something in mid-tone, because we've got a lot of You want to go dark and light with it, so you've got these light areas up here that you want to show up against it. If it's too light, this is not going to show up. If it's too dark, this is not going to show up. So I chose a mid-tone so that both of those would show up. And I chose, you know, I'm deliberately making sure that the border areas have enough darkness so that they show up too, right? I'm going to get a little bit of teal, and I'm just going to pop in a little bit of teal in a few areas, just for another layer of interest in my green areas. So it doesn't need to be very much, but just a tiny bit will do. All right. So pretty happy with our chicken, pretty happy with my flowers. And let's go ahead and start. Now we could leave it like this or just add, maybe add some lighter pinks. So getting my magenta and my white and doing some lighter pinks. And I probably do need to do those before I add my bright pops of neon, because those will disappear. And this will give us some light color to work with underneath. So there's that. And I might add another layer of even brighter white to my yellow area, but I may end up, I don't know, I may end up doing some neons on those too. So we'll see. So let's go ahead and put out some of these neon colors and some gold, and we'll play with those, and then we'll be done. So
Are we doing the secret word?
oh yes, our secret word. Let me show you. We're doing that
Chicken Maine. No.
art haul. Hold on. So make sure that you've got all your stuff done, because you're gonna, well, at least I am gonna wipe all my colors off. So I'm hoping that I don't have to have any of those colors again, because otherwise I'm gonna have to remix them. But I think I was pretty much done. All right. But yeah, here I'll show the Princeton sent me some goodies to give to some
For people to haul away.
free prizes. Prizes is a good word. Free prizes.
Stuff.
So we've already had 4 winners. We've got
Nice.
3 more winners to pick tonight.
Excellent.
Well, not tonight. We'll give it a week, and then next Tuesday I'll announce all 7 winners. I've already sent emails to the winners from
The previous
the
4.
previous. Well, I forgot to do the 2 today,
okay.
so there are 2 winners that won last night when I picked the winners. Let me see. From last week we had, drum roll. This is our word, code word for the giveaway. Oh, I didn't put the thing in the
Yeah,
description.
we'll add it later.
I'll add it to the description after the video, right after.
Can you show
It'll be
that high
there.
dollar prop again that we use? Yes. We spare no expense for.
I was busy picking out my colors. I was excited about using these neon colors, and I forgot to add the prize
Our
link.
haul link.
But there's a link down in the description, or there will be after the
Yes.
show. That will be your code word that you'll add in with your name and your email to get entered in this week's. If you're already a patron, there's a Patreon code too that you were able to use to get an extra entry for our patrons,
Nice.
just as a thank you. But this is the art haul from Princeton, and they were very generous. All kinds of different brushes and paints and catalyst blades and even some gouache. And there's a bigger set of acrylic things too. And then Fredrix Canvas donated 2 cases of their 12 by 12 inch. So this is perfect size for tonight's video. And so 2 winners will get the cases of 3 canvases in the case, and then the other 5 winners will get the Art Hall prize from Princeton, and they can choose. We still have, as of tonight, we still have both prizes available. So
Nice.
yay. So anyhow, yes, really fun. We did it this way. I don't know if it's any better, but it's just it drives we'll get some new newsletter folks. So when you sign up, you get entered into our newsletter as well, which I swear we're not spammy, and we send out 1 weekly email, and that's it. We're not trying to sell you anything. We're just informing you of our videos. So, and what we're doing that week. And then once a month we send out one for our whole monthly schedule. So we'll be coming out with April's schedule here in a couple of days. And I'm working on figuring that out right now.
And it's very generous of our sponsors to
Very generous.
give away stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
You know, you guys have been awesome. You've gone and you've bought from them, and they've seen that and they appreciate it.
Yeah, Princeton Brush and Fredrix both. They've been my sponsors. They've sent me free brushes and free canvases for several years now. And I really couldn't do my videos the way I do them without them, because they make it so that I can do as many videos as I want to without having to worry about the cost, because my goodness, the cost would be astronomical if I was having to add in, especially canvases are real expensive. So
Right. And they have supported in these kind of art hall things for years.
oh yeah,
And
giveaways, yeah.
They'll reach out like, hey, are you doing another one? Let's
Right,
do
you
it.
want to do giveaway? I'm like, yeah,
Yeah.
heck yeah. I'm always saying yeah
Our
to a
people,
giveaway.
our people like free stuff.
We like to let you guys in on all the goods. So I feel
All right. Sorry, you're putting
All right,
out a
so
bunch
I'm
of
just putting out
fluorescent colors.
my fluorescent colors here, and I think I might put out my luminous yellow too. Holbein acrylic. These are really great. They're small, and but there's also golden acrylics come in the tubes now, and then I also have Arteza. This is the only one that I have, I think, that came in the multi-pack, the neon pink. So I'm using luminous red, opera, orange, and rose and luminous yellow in the Holbein, and that's it for now, I think, and we'll see. So when you're using these colors, one thing you need to know is they are not very light fast, so you don't want to put this painting in a window or anywhere in the sun, because these colors will fade really quickly on you if you do. So keep that in mind as you're planning on where you're going to put these these paintings. Oh, look at that. Wow. I'm trying to shoot for maybe my kind of reddish areas there. I probably could put it over my red and see. Yeah, so it'll darken that up a little bit.
Since it's a rooster, it probably won't go in the bathroom.
You never know.
If it was a seashell or a fish or something, it would.
We've had whole conversations about that on the show,
yeah.
haven't we?
I was watching you, well, the whole show actually, but earlier I'm thinking, man, I sure liked that first rooster painting we did, because I used my joke and it was very effective.
I know.
And I was like, man, I wish I could use it again.
We made
But
t-shirts out of that joke.
That's right.
You can use your joke again. I don't care.
Well, no, it won't
Not
get the
everybody
same.
has seen.
It won't get the same reaction out of you, though.
Well, out of me
And that's why I do it.
to get my laughs.
Yes.
I like it. All right, so I added it to our pink flowers. I like that. This is the darker, I think that was the rose, maybe the magenta. And this is the color from Arteza. They're definitely much more transparent. It's not like right here where I went over that background green, it did not show up at all. Okay, I'm going to use some of this purpley color in the center here, maybe. It's kind of out there, so you may not like this, and that's fine. If you don't do it. It's your painting. I'm going to do it on mine just because I wanted to try something different. But I know it's not everybody's. I mean, it's kind of wild colors, so it's definitely not realistic at all. But I'm drawn to these colors, and I see them everywhere lately. If you start looking for them, you'll notice that a lot of decorating companies are using these neons right now in this way, with pops of very neutral other things. So I think I just kind of overdid and covered everything up. So I think I'm going to go back in with my lighter pinks. I don't like that, what I just did in that last layer. And I'm going to add this to my white, which will dull it down. It's not going to be as neon if I do this, but I just need to add my whites back in. I just covered them all up. There we go. That's better.
So does this painting type fall into any kind of a style or a genre? Or is it just fun and whimsical?
I would say definitely whimsical is what I would, label it. Whimsical. Not really pop art, but, it could kind of sort of go that way somewhat. Pop art uses those kind of, Andy Warhol used these kind of wild colors in some of his stuff. So it could be sort of labeled that too. All right, getting there. The more I did the colors, this is why I did the colors underneath, and I still ended up losing all of my depth in these by, and I haven't used these very often, so I'm probably not very good at it. There's probably other tricks that you can use to use them more efficiently, but I don't know them because I don't use them very often. But I'm going to go ahead and go back in with my magenta and just add back in just a couple of lines of that. It doesn't have to be all neon. And I think I want some, maybe just some light pink in around the center too. All right. I'm going to call that good enough. I'm going to get the ultramarine blue and a little bit of that magenta and a little bit of burnt umber just to darken it up. And just dab that back in my centers if I need it dark again. And having that dark center just kind of grounds it a little bit. Otherwise, I feel like it looks like it might just float away off the canvas. It's so bright and poppy. I'm going to get that orange and use it in the center of these flowers here. Just dabbing, using the tip of the brush. And then we'll use just a little bit of it. Maybe use some white. yellow. Just making a brighter yellow for some of these. I'm adding that luminous orange or luminous yellow to the cadmium yellow light and white here. Which again, using the white is gonna dull these down, so they're not gonna be as luminous if you do that, but just using them to get that tone. So a little bit of that brighter yellow. I like that bright green or bright orange that we did in the centers, though. That looks really nice. And I'm going to do very little orange in these, just a little tiny bit of orange in a couple of places in these. Just a little, okay. I have to say that to myself, otherwise I will just keep painting them. I'll be like, don't do it, don't, just a little bit. And then I'll hear myself and go,
It's
okay.
like when you were talking about your
Psychological.
Australian painting. You're like, yeah, I put some flowers, and then of course I did too many.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll show that one. I finished this one. It took us 10 weeks to finish the Animals of Australia, and I added flowers to this tree, and yeah, I probably could have done half of what I did.
Half the flowers.
Half the flowers, but yeah, it turned out fun. I really enjoyed that one. That's our Animals of the World series that we've done in our Patreon challenge group. The challenge level, which those are definitely a challenge. But I saw today somebody shared, I can't remember who.
Yeah, I did. I just saw that actually.
Yeah. They painted that one. Did a really good job.
Hey, your paint opener, what is that?
That is the Golden Gripper. I think it's GRPR or something like that. It's got a weird spelling. Alright. Going back in and kind of just dabbing on little dots inside these ones. Kind of looking good. Alright. And I think we may be done. I don't think I'm going to add shadows to them, but I do want to have some gold in the background. You can see how that background actually dried pretty solid almost, you know, doing that little wash of that color over it. I can't really tell where we mess with it, which is good. All right, so I'm going to add some gold accents to it. This is totally optional. If you don't like metallics, then leave it out, but this is almost the exact color of this background. I was like, well, shoot, we might as well have fun with it, right? So I've got bronze, deep gold, and gold. Oh my goodness. Can't get it open. Well, it's like it's a cap. Can you get that open? Just be careful. Hold one hand over it because it will spit at you when you open it. Thank you. All right, so I think I'm just going to do a random dot pattern and kind of just pick a shape that we've done in here and just kind of repeat it. I could do stripes. I could do swirlies. I think I'm just going to do kind of some random circles, maybe. I don't know. I don't want to do anything that's gonna take away from our rooster. So I feel like we could do kind of a variety of different gold shapes, different I don't know. I'm not sure if I like that. So what I'm going to do is kind of wipe it and it'll just give it a sheen.
Like Charlie?
Buff it up. Buff it in. What?
Like Charlie?
Yeah. Just like that. Okay.
Wax on, wax off. Actually, yeah, I like that.
Gives it a little sheen. Get the bigger brush here. And maybe just do it like I did the glaze when I did that part of it and just kind of go around, add some little swipes of color instead of trying to do shapes. Just do some swipes. Yeah, I like it. I like the gold. So you could start with gold if you want. You know, I do kind of like the look of having a little bit of a negative paint effect where you're seeing a little bit of that brown from the background. To me, it kind of adds another layer of interest to the painting. But again, this is your, when you do yours, you do it to your likes. If you don't like gold, let's start Golden Rooster. I like it. And it's almost, like I said, it's just a great color to do the gold because it's very subtle. Like you wouldn't notice it was there until you look, the light hits it just right, so it would be the color that I would choose to paint the background if I was painting it gold anyways, on purpose or, in my original plan, which I literally had gold paint sitting next to the thing off to the side here and was like, ooh, that would be fun. So that's how we've ended up this is why we've made the life choices that we've made. Okay, I like this. See how I'm kind of going over with just that brush stroke? I like that better than those circles. So just like kind of squared off brush strokes in random patterns. I like that better. Okay. There you go, gold Flooster. Created our own word, just like Shakespeare used to do. All right, there we go. I like it. I overdo, so edit yourself better than I do. I'm like, those are good, so I need to do them everywhere. Like, I don't know when to stop. I really do have a problem with that.
It's like me and cookies.
Exactly.
This package says a serving size of 12. That can't be right.
All right, so I'm adding the bronze just because I already put it out, and why not? But yeah, that's nice. So just a subtle pattern, nothing too crazy. Just, I don't want to take away from what is going on in our rooster, which there's a lot, so.
We got a question.
Okay.
They would like to know, can you glaze with a metallic paint?
Yeah, you can, and you'll get a more subtle sheen, but yes, you can But just make sure that you do this brown, underneath them. They're very transparent, metallics are, so really want your background to be almost the exact color of what the metallic, paint is. So yellow oxide is usually a good color to start with because it's already very yellow. And it's a good... This one obviously had the burnt umber in it too, but it's not taken away from the gold at all, I think. Fun. I really do like the neon. I don't know if it shows up on camera, but it's very fun in person, very bright. But we used it in a few other places, and then, like I said, with all of the neutral blues and greens and things, it doesn't overpower things because it's just kind of in a few places, so it really pops and looks good. I hope you guys try this one. Super fun. Hope you liked it. Give it a thumbs up if you did. Let me know in comments if you want to see more of these type of creatures in a series. We could do more floosters. We could do other birds. We could do...
It's like Dr. Seuss over here.
We could do flogs. We could do...
Flats.
Flats like cats. Yeah, flat would be cute, I think.
Fleas.
What would that be?
Bees.
Yes. Yes, I did have that as an idea for sure. So, all right.
Flanks.
Flanks?
Mm-hmm. It's a tank.
Okay, so you had me. You got me. All right.
The look she was looking at me, he's like, what?
It's like, I don't get it. All right, there we go. I am going to, I just see one thing on the beak here.
No, really?
Be quiet. There is just like it's disappeared. So I just want to brighten that up just a little bit so it doesn't disappear down in the gold. All right, that's it. There we go. Thank you guys so much. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you think. Please be nice. If you didn't like it, you can just move on. It's fine. It's not for everybody, I know. I really don't need to know all the reasons why you didn't like it, but if you feel like you need to share it, that's okay too. You do you. Got to get it off your chest. But yeah, there we go. All right, thank you guys for watching, and we will see you next week. We're going to be putting out our new schedule. I think we're going to be painting an eclipse painting. Ooh.
Right.
Got the eclipse coming up here in Arkansas. It's going to be...
yes, on the 8th.
Right, so we're going to be...
dead center here.
Yeah, it's almost dead center. Best viewing spots here in our front yard. Mm-hmm. So we're looking forward to it. Got family coming down, but I want to paint something in honor of that because it's going to be a big deal. So we're going to be doing a landscape with a tree and an eclipse. So I'll be posting that here pretty soon, and as well as all of the other April paintings that we'll be doing. So that's it.
And happy Easter.
Yes, and happy Easter. Oh yeah, this weekend, isn't it? Yeah, it is. Happy Easter to everybody. All right, we'll see you next time. Bye.